What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And in today's episode, guys, I'm going into this blind. I have no idea what to expect from this. The SCP is SCP-2256, very tall things. I was trying to deduce like what it could be. The thumbnail looks like giraffes, but most of their body parts are censored, so I don't know what that would mean for this SCP, or is that just part of like the the visuals for the thumbnail? Who knows if that sensing thing has something to play within the SCP itself. However, I know one thing, we're going to find out today. So with that all out the way, if you guys are enjoying my reactions so far and you guys enjoyed this one, remember to smash that like button if you do enjoy it, and also remember to smash the sub button as well too. Join the family. I make content like this daily for you guys, so you always get your fix of the SCP doses of heat. And I'm telling you, if you like my reaction style, you like SCP reactions, this is the best place to be, man, and you finally came home. Come along and join the family so we can have fun together. With that being said, remember to turn on post notifications as well so you do not miss an upload. YouTube doesn't always let you guys know when I'm going live, so it behooves you, if you want to catch each upload when it's up, hit that bell and stay plugged. And also remember, special shout out to SCP Exposed Foundation Tales Animated, bringing us this animation today for me to react to. Man, I can't wait. So with that all out the way, without any further ado, let's get this show started. Alrighty, SCP-2256, very tall things. Let's go.
The early morning sunlight glistened on the water as the young man returned from his fishing expedition. He had set off before dawn that morning, as he did every morning, to fish the waters surrounding Maikiti, his Polynesian island home.
They're from the islands. Yeah, you already know the vibe. Man, already this is gonna be a good SCP. I got the vibes feeling nice. Yo, the sun's hidden, bro. I feel that right now. Yo, let's get it.
He had had a very successful morning fishing, and as he dragged his boat out of the water, he felt happy and content. He decided he would take a few minutes rest before taking his catch to the market to sell. He flopped down onto the sand and looked out to the ocean. Seabirds flew behind the boats of his friends, hoping to catch any scraps of fish left behind.
Such vibes, bro. Oh my god. I can just picture being there right now on that beach. Yo, the vibes are hidden, bro. I'm not even there, and the vibes are hidden. That should say something.
He felt lucky to be living there, surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. He reached into his pocket and took out the bottle of Tiococa he always kept on him.
They gonna get a little loose.
Took this substance to relax after a hard morning's work.
Yo.
It wasn't long before the mildly psychedelic effect of the drug began to consume him.
Oh, that's a drug.
He lay back in his box after a hard morning's work.
Hold up.
Took out the bottle.
Oh, I thought he was gonna be sipping something strong, but we got a little psychedelics on our hands, literally.
Tiococa he always kept on him.
Tiococa.
The island people took this substance to relax after a hard morning's work.
Yo.
It wasn't long before the mildly psychedelic effect of the drug began to consume him.
He's really vibing.
He lay back and his body relaxed as the drug washed over him. Suddenly, something inside him urged him to sit up. He looked out over the water. He noticed that there was something on the horizon. He had never seen anything like it before in his life. It was a huge creature resembling a dinosaur with a long giraffe-like neck.
Oh my god. That creature wasn't what I was expecting from just seeing this thumbnail. I literally thought it was like giraffes or something. These look like, oh my god.
It stood at almost 1,000 meters tall.
The eyes.
It was walking slowly across the ocean floor, the tops of its legs visible above the water. He had heard tales of his ancestors seeing this mythical creature, but never dreamt that he would be one to witness it. The island folk had said that the creature was a wandering spirit charged with keeping the sky and the water from mixing.
Oh.
He jumped up and ran back to his village. He shouted to his family and friends to come and witness what he had seen.
Yeah, I wonder if they could see it.
A group of men followed him back to the beach, but when they reached
They
there,
probably can't.
all they could see was a huge black storm brewing on the horizon. They laughed at him. They didn't believe him when he described to them what he had seen.
Dang.
"That's no dinosaur," said one of them. "It's just a tornado, and it looks like it's heading this way."
And he's hella cash saying that, like, okay, yeah, he's wrong, it's not a dinosaur or whatever, but goddamn, it's a tornado. Wouldn't you guys be scared? And I was waiting for him to be like, oh, it's heading the opposite way, but he even said it's heading our way, and he's still cheeking, like, smiling and everything, like, yo, come on, bro. Priorities.
Welcome back to SCP Exposed. Today, we bring you Euclid class subject SCP-2256.
Euclid.
But before I go on, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any more SCP stories.
I low-key was going to expect this to be at least a key, not because how dangerous it could potentially be, which I don't think it would be that dangerous, I just think it would be really hard to capture. That's why it being Euclid, it kind of surprised me. But I wonder if the dude that was taking those psychedelics, he was able to see that SCP because of the psychedelics. Maybe that was a way for him to like breach the barriers of like a certain dimension to be able to see what normal people wouldn't. Because there's multiple dimensions within us, and sometimes if you hit certain levels or hit certain planes of existence, you can see them. You can see those dimensions, but we shall see.
SCP-2256, scientific name Cryptomorpha gigantes, is a species of gigafauna which
Cryptomorphic. Let's try that again.
56, scientific name Cryptomorpha gigantes, is a species of gigafauna which was endemic to the South Pacific Ocean around the islands of Polynesia. It was one of the very few recorded species known to have developed rudimentary perceptual antimemetic camouflage, rendering them nearly impossible for other sentient beings to perceive or remember. This adaptation is theorized to have arisen in order to elude predators.
Wow.
It was the largest species to have lived on Earth, resembling spindly, vertically elongated giraffes or brachiosauruses. Adults of the species grew to over 1,000 meters in height.
Crazy, by the way, but the camouflage part, they mainly said this probably was adapted because of predators. But goddamn, it was just stated they're the biggest creatures on Earth. So what predators would you be afraid of, and who would prey on you? Like, are you kidding me? Like, isn't that crazy to think? Like, and they showed like a great white shark. There's no way that shark is going to do anything to this besides tickle its little toes. Come on now, let's be honest. So I feel like this, the camouflage was maybe another part of this SCP that wasn't just for predators, or they're just assuming that because it wouldn't make sense. What could like take them out for them to be hiding to camouflage themselves? I feel like it's maybe because of other people like humans. Maybe they gain that ability through time. That's interesting. So I really think it's the psychedelics that made this dude see him. Unless like these monsters, these SCPs wasn't using the camouflage, at least the one that we saw. But why wouldn't he? And then just put it back on. I don't know.
They weighed no more than 4 tons, with most of their mass being camouflaged by a very similar adaptation. With their broad, disc-shaped feet, they were able to walk directly on the surface of the ocean without sinking. SCP-2256 navigated the ocean alone, or in groups of 2, to as many as 2,000 individuals.
Wait, because his weird shaped feet? Hold up. What was your reason again that he could just walk on water? What the heck? Hold up.
They weighed no more than 4 tons, with most of their mass being camouflaged by a very similar adaptation.
Oh, only 4 tons and most of the mass is camouflaged. Damn. So it camouflages the weight itself, not just like, the visual experience of the actual SCP. Yo, that's actually pretty cool.
With their broad, disc-shaped feet, they were able to walk directly on the surface of the ocean without sinking.
That's still insane.
SCP-2256 navigated the ocean alone, or in groups of 2, to as many as 2,000 individuals. They were reluctant to approach land, especially inhabited islands, usually staying more than 30 kilometers offshore.
2,000.
Because of their height, they were visible on the horizon at this distance. Information about SCP-2256 is subject to a gradual antimemetic corrosion effect. Corrosion occurs at differing rates depending on the level of detail or accuracy in the information and the physical complexity of the storage medium.
Wow.
In-depth academic papers, photographs, and information stored electronically decay rapidly.
That's insane. What the heck?
Pencil sketches and paperwork decay slowly.
Yo, this SCP literally seems like it has traits of SCP-055, the anti-meme. I'm pretty sure. Yo, that's interesting. Because the only SCP that could do that, I think, is like the anti-meme and like other similar ones. But like, it seems like this is just a random part of this SCP. I doubt this SCP is actually doing it when he senses someone like looking at him or finding information. I don't know, let's just keep it going.
Therefore, this electronic database entry should describe SCP-2256 only in broad terms. Detailed information about its appearance, theorized evolutionary ancestry, biology, diet, behavior, vocalizations, life cycle, intelligence, ecological role, and cultural significance should be stored in hard copy at Site 19, Vault 1-053. The rate of corrosion in both data sources should be monitored carefully, although at present, no technique is known for halting or undoing such corrosion. Although
That's
these
crazy.
antimemetic effects linger and rate Euclid classification, SCP-2256 itself is extinct and requires no special containment procedure. The antimemetic
Is extinct? So it's not even alive anymore? Then why did we just see one on the island? What? Hold up. I'm getting confused. Then why do you have a classification? Wouldn't it just be safe or terminated? Or neutralized? That's the terminology you guys like to use, right? What the heck? Let me hear this again.
and rate Euclid classification, SCP-2256 itself is extinct and requires no special containment procedure. The Antimemetics Division Hub was set up by the Foundation in order to study the potential effects of the antimemes on an SCP subject. An antimeme is an idea with self-censoring properties, an idea which, by its intrinsic nature, discourages or prevents people from spreading it.
Perfect. So does it actually have ties with SCP-055? Because that's literally what I assumed. Has to be, right? Unless they're just talking about it in the general aspect of anti-meme.
Antimemes are real. Think of any piece of information which you wouldn't share with anybody, like passwords, taboos, and dirty secrets.
Yeah?
Or any piece of information which would be difficult to share even if you tried, such as complex equations, very boring passages of text, large blocks of random numbers, and dreams. But anomalous anti-memes are another matter entirely. How do you contain something you can't record or remember?
Anomalous
How do you fight a
anti-memes.
war against an enemy with effortless, perfect camouflage when you can never even know that you're at war? An antimemetic
Yeah.
division hub is currently conducting extensive research and testing to try to determine if an antidote can be produced to reverse the effects an anti-meme has already had on a SCP subject or may have in the future. The Polynesian natives of the island of Maikiti used a substance called tucoca for recreational and religious purposes.
That's probably what they use to counterbalance the anti-meme. That's why the dude saw the SCP.
As well as being a moderate psychedelic, this drug had mnestic properties, suppressing antimemetic effects, and making entities camouflaged in this way easier to see and remember.
Dang.
Thus, the Maiketians were for hundreds of years the only people able to see SCP-2256.
That's crazy.
In Maiketian mythology, SCP-2256 were wandering spirits whom the gods had charged with maintaining the horizon to ensure that the sky and the water never mixed.
Wow.
They were characterized as well-meaning and friendly, but unintelligent and often deficient in their duties, resulting in storms and typhoons.
Come on,
They were
dude.
called Polo Ngaku, meaning the ones who walk very slowly. In
The ones who
1991,
walk
an
very
internal
slowly.
biochemistry
Wow.
study revealed that tucoca bore a strong chemical resemblance to the Foundation's own Class W mnestic. A
Oh.
Foundation anthropologist was assigned to follow Polo Ngaku, the Maiketian legend, and became the first outsider to observe SCP-2256. An observation tower was quickly erected on the island to study the creatures. Routine containment analysis found that SCP-2256 was safe and required no special containment procedures, or even particular levels of secrecy.
Wait, hold up. Let me hear that one more time.
Maiketian legend, and became the first outsider to observe SCP-2256.
Okay.
An
Makes
observation tower was quickly erected on the island to study the creatures. Routine containment analysis found that SCP-2256 was safe and required no special containment procedures,
Yeah.
or even particular levels of secrecy.
That's what I figured.
SCP-2256 immediately proved to be impossible to capture photographically. Photographic negatives of the species faded into transparency over the matter of a few minutes.
I wonder if they put the psychedelic drug on that film, would it show up again? Because now I'm thinking about the Totuku, like whatever it's called, like the psychedelic drug. That could probably counterbalance SCP-055, the anti-meme. Because that dude in that freaking video was going through hella loops just to figure out any information about it. So what if he like took that drug and he was able to actually, retain information and he knew what he was like talking about and it didn't disappear. But well, the opposite end of that is when the drug wears off, it might disappear. Anyway, let's just keep it going.
Similar evidence of decay affected videotape, audio tape, celluloid film, digital and electronic scans. The observation team soon returned most of their equipment to inventory and proceeded using pencils and paper. At the time, it was believed that such recordings would be effectively permanent. Its
Dang.
population declined slightly in 1992 and 1993, then dropped sharply from 1994 onwards. A combination of contributing factors were observed: illness, infertility, and an alarming rate of stillbirths. In 2002, a
Damn.
field generator was developed, which could penetrate and neutralize SCP-2256's antimemetic effects, allowing for conventional photography. The first and only close-up photograph of one of the creatures instantly killed it. It was concluded that direct observation of SCP-2256 is injurious to it. This
Yo, no wonder they got extinct. Cause I was like wondering, like, how did they really get extinct? They gave reasons, but knowing that literally just taking a picture is an insta kill, bro, this guy's a glass cannon. Like, yo, no cap, but like, damn, just a picture, just observation. So they need that camouflage to survive. It's not something for them to, like, you know, defend themselves from literally like scary, like, shark predators. It's like just, you know, observation itself. Wow. Let's see that again.
A photograph of one of the creatures instantly killed it. It was concluded that direct observation of SCP-2256 is injurious to it. This adaptation is believed to have arisen as a means of detecting predators, just as its antimemetic camouflage protected them from those same predators. Use of a field generator was immediately curtailed. It was subsequently hypothesized that the Foundation's ongoing passive observation of the species was intense enough to have harmful effects on SCP-2256,
Dang it.
and that observation was what was driving the species to extinction.
Dang, that blows. But at least at the same time, I doubt the Foundation knew the extent of how much they were killing them by just observing them. You know, because before this point, they didn't know anything about it. So they actually started seeing them. So I don't think they did this on purpose, hopefully. But like, dang, that sucks. They're supposed to be like gods and everything, but like, they're not that smart. That's funny.
Opinions differed sharply about the veracity of this hypothesis, over how thoroughly it should be tested, and over what should be done if it proved to be true. Several extreme options were suggested, including exterminating it to preserve the data and completely expunging the data to preserve SCP-2256. No firm conclusions were drawn. In 2003, observation of SCP-2256 was scaled back significantly, and the Foundation changed focus from gathering new data to analyzing existing data.
Nice.
However, SCP-2256's population continued to decline.
Okay, at least they did the right thing. Because so far in some of the animations, bro, like, SCP Foundation would just keep on doing research, even if it's harming the SCPs. But now that it was like going out of extinct, they actually try to stop. But I guess it didn't change anything, which is sad. But at least they try to do the right thing.
The last individual died near Tokelau on October 30th, 2006.
Dang.
In 2010, it was discovered that the antimemetic camouflage effect, also characterized as decay or corrosion, was spreading through paper records of SCP-2256. As of now, more than 60% of paper documents are corroded, even with a strong mnestic dose. The effect is even affecting the SCP entry itself, despite defensive shielding and redundancy in the data system. Since SCP-2256 became extinct, no new data on it can be generated. It is believed that full contamination of all data on it will occur in 3 to 8 years. What do you think of the SCP case? Please leave your comments below.
This was fascinating because I would have never expected for one to have like corrosion effects and be somewhat similar to like the anti-meme, which is basically like the anti-meme mixed with this SCP. And knowing how deadly it is for just someone to observe this SCP, it's an instant kill for the SCP. Like, what? You know, this was a really fascinating SCP. I enjoyed reacting to this. Yo, if you guys enjoyed this reaction, please remember to smash that like button. And also in the comment section below, let me know what you guys thought about this SCP. Were you guys really intrigued when, you know, you watched it for the first time? And what do you guys really liked about the SCP? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions and reasons. And also remember, smash that notification bell so you can always stay plugged with each and every upload. And remember, hit that sub button. If you didn't already hit the sub button, come on, guys. Yo, join the fam. Quit playing games. Hop in and have a blast with us. So with that all out the way, like always, that concludes today's episode. However, I'll catch you guys on the next one. With